Troll and Toad has slapped Wizards of the Coast in the face. They have hit them where nobody has hit them before. As of January 1st of 2024, Troll and Toad is no longer accepting Magic the Gathering products. Sometimes a relationship can just be broken. And when that happens, you got to break it off and cut your losses. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. So imagine a company like Troll and Toad, been around since 1994, and they're saying we're no longer carrying Magic products as of January 2024. We're done. We're not carrying singled. We're not carrying sealed. We're going to have some liquidation sales. We are selling off the excess stock. We're done. We're not making enough money. It's not profitable enough. We are going to have to go elsewhere to make our money. We're going to use things like One Piece and Fab and etc., MetaZoo, whatever you want to say. Imagine having that be said out loud by one of the major online platforms, whether you like Troll and Toad or not. I think they were number 5. I think TCG is number 1. They're number 4 and number 5 on the largest platforms that you could send your cards into and get money. Yes, I heard the horror stories of getting ripped off. I know it happens. Every company has their day where you got a good day and a bad day. I'm not here to actually criticize or acclaim the company because I never shopped with them. I don't have a relationship with that company, so I can't add an opinion to that. I can only kind of theorize what I've seen other people talk about. But imagine for a moment, a company like this says we can't make money selling the sealed. We can't make money selling the singles. Well, why is that? What happened? Well, in the last couple of years, we had this nice symbiotic relationship. Wizards gave us a little thin sliver of the pie, gave us a little bit of time to sell singles. We made some money. They got their product sold. We promoted it. We sold it. We had it up on our websites. And, they decided to change the relationship. So we were kind of symbiotic. We were kind of relying on them. But it's just not working out now. And then the company looks at the books and says it's no longer viable. We are no longer in an economic climate where we can carry Magic the Gathering and make a viable living doing it, so we have to cut our losses. Well, ask yourself, why are they doing this? Magic the Gathering keeps raising their prices, even for distribution. They're raising their prices. So even companies like Troll and Toad, TCG Player, any of these big guys buying boxes and buying sealed product, even if they're going to crack it and open it, they've got to buy it. They've got to get their hands on it. They've got to get it out the door. They have a lot more carrying costs. So when that all happens and the prices start to rise, the shipping costs start to rise, they see their profit margins getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. And those profit margins slimming out make other TCG games like Fab look a lot juicier. Okay? The bottom line looks a lot tastier when the boxes cost less. The player base is growing, so people are seeking out a lot of the cards for a lot of these other TCGs. Again, because of things that Wizards of the Coast has done. So what does this leave a company to think? We got to cut our ties. We're done. And maybe it'll send a message to Wizards that we're not going to take this anymore. Well, I'll be honest. A single company putting their foot down and saying we're not going to take this anymore isn't likely. Even after a 30-year relationship, it will be noticed, but it will not be missed. Because the other guys out there like TCG Player are just going to pick up the slack and absorb the market share that is being lost by Troll and Toad, whether you like the company or not. Another one of these online platforms is going to suck up that volume and move it along. And for a second, my brain was thinking, if more of these online platforms stated their intent to leave Wizards of the Coast and say, we're not promoting your product, we're done, we're not buying it, we're not shipping it, we're not doing anything to do with it, people can just go somewhere else. Imagine if enough companies did it, what Wizards of the Coast would be forced to do. They depend on these platforms to promote the product, to sell the product, to buy the product. They have helped create the secondary market. Wizards doesn't have a secondary market outlet other than Secret Lairs and selling direct with sealed products. They don't have the infrastructure, the manpower, or the know-how to get this all done. They need the online retailers. They need the LGSs and platforms to buy and sell the cards to keep the economic team in business, right? Economic team? Come on, ever since that Vegas con, I'm never letting it go. The economic team lets them know which cards to reprint. And even a company like Troll and Toad, in this article I read, stated that because of the 30th anniversary, it really spooked the company. It spooked Troll and Toad. They lost a lot of money, and they're not even carrying reserve list cards at all anymore. They're like, no, We lost so much money because you threatened to reprint it. Everyone dumped their product. Everyone dumped their collections. It became worthless to us to even try to buy it. We're done. That was one nail in the coffin. Then all the reprint variants and not giving companies that do buy your product enough time to actually move, buy, and sell the product and the singles, another nail in the coffin. And the company had enough. When other bottom lines from other card games look so much more juicy and tasty, why should they promote your stuff, Wizards? Why should they carry it? This is a problem of Wizards' own creation and their own greed. And I don't care if you say like, oh, greed, they're a company, they gotta make money. I understand that, no problem. Doesn't mean you're not greedy though. You gotta justify it to your shareholders, and it's okay to be greedy. It's a capitalist environment. They can take it as far as they can take it until they can't. Now, on the other hand, if enough companies stand up and say we're not carrying your product, Wizards of the Coast may be forced into doing something very drastic because, as I stated, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the ways of moving this product around, and they don't want to be in the business of buying and selling. They want to create, they want to distribute, and they want to reap rewards in the secondary market with the economic team telling them what to reprint into secret layers, reprint products, and keep the wheels turning. Now, at this point, a company like Troll and Toad, which is like number 4 or 5, I keep forgetting, but number 4 or 5 of the big online platforms, when they're leaving the market like this, it's just going to be absorbed by TCG Player, Card Market, other card online platforms will absorb that market share. Right now, when something like Card Sphere, when they went away, when I guess they're not gone yet, but they're gone like what, in a month or two they're gone, and they're going to fold up shop. When that company leaves, it's a little more unique than what something like Troll and Toad did, which was just an online retailing presence, not a trading platform and stuff. When those things start leaving, it's a sign of the economic times we're in right now. They're having a hard time making ends meet. And Troll and Toad in this case isn't going out of business. They have like $20 to $24 million of volume every year in sales. I was looking some stuff up. So they still make money, but they make a lot less than they used to. And that's because Wizards has upped their profit margins and they're cutting into the little guy. That only goes so far. You can only carry the knife to the edge so far before people walk away and say, this is too dangerous. Yeah, you're too close to my fingers, man. I ain't playing that game. I'm walking away. And when that happens, when enough people do it, Wizards of the Coast may be forced into a drastic step, something they didn't expect to do. They may have to write something on paper saying they're not going to reprint these cards. They may have to put something into paper, like the reserve list came into creation. If it gets bad enough, Wizards of the Coast has no intention of letting the ship sink. They're going to take it as far as they can. They're taking it right to the edge of that iceberg before they pull away. Maybe they'll be a little bit late for some people, but they may be forced into some drastic measures. They may be forced to create a new reserve list. They may be forced to be protecting certain artwork or certain types of foiling or guaranteeing no further print runs. Who knows what those options would be until they got on the table at one of their meetings in the Ivory Tower and they looked down and said, what can we do? What can we do just enough to get players back on side, but not enough to shoot ourselves in the foot for the next 40 years? What do we do? They'll look at the marketing team. They'll look at the economic engine of their company, the economic team. They will look at Forsyth and all the guys. They'll call in Rosewater. They may even have Cynthia read something from the Wikipedia page about the reserve list. And they'll figure it out. Okay? They're going to figure it out. Chris Cox won't be there. He's at a cocktail party. They will chill out and they will figure it out to get the players back on side. It will be too late for some players, but it's not too late forever. It's only too late until you get bored of another game and want to come back to the original, to the OG Magic the Gathering, which is why I tell people don't sell your collections. Hold on, enjoy the game forever. You've already paid for the stuff, you already own it, don't worry about it. You never know when things turn around. It can be a scary time if you ever decide to get back in. So I look at this now, and I look at how this pace is being felt by players. I read all the Reddit threads and streams about how this is all playing out for certain people. And again, I never use the company. I have no experience. I can't comment if they're good or bad. But I know how it feels when you see a bigger company like this. And they're not big, like it's a huge company. No. But they are leaving a space open. And that space will be absorbed by other companies right now. But what happens when the other company finds it too hard to make money and they leave too? Or they put their foot down and say, you know what? Yeah, we're not carrying stuff. It's the same as we heard with the Doctor Who and the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. You're probably going to hear there's a shortage, okay? But there's not. It's just people ordering less. They're not taking the risks anymore because their turnaround is too fast. They can't sell the singles quick enough to make their margins back, and they can't be guaranteed the singles will go up in price before another reprinting comes along. Wizards has done like a double-barreled, shotgun to your foot, and you're just like, it's a mess down there. Oh, I don't really want to look, but I'm really tempted to. That's how it feels, okay? And hopefully these things will work themselves out over time. But it's not going to happen right away. Now, what I mean, I just want to share you guys the article. So hold on a second. We're going to get to this article just so you can take a look at it in case you're interested. So here we have Troll and Toad backs off on Magic the Gathering after an almost 30-year run. This was October 5th, guys. The article came out. Now, it says, Troll and Toad's been around since 1994, blah, blah, blah. One of the first large-scale buyers. I understand all that. But what got me was the second paragraph near the end, right? Where it says, Troll and Toad management was spooked by the reprinting of non-tournament legal reserve list cards in Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition and decided to no longer take the risk that Wizards of the Coast may do it again one day by not carrying the reserve list singles. That's 30th anniversary, guys. And then they also say, Magic is not profitable enough for our company to continue carrying it right now, said Burns. Sometimes I felt like we were stocking it just because I love the game so much. So think about that. You love the game, things are great, but it's not enough money, and you're freaking out. Well, why are you freaking out? Because Wizards is obviously charging more, because it wasn't like that before. The pace of the game is sped up so much you can't sell the singles in time. All those arguments coming back around, but just like Cardsphere, it's now affecting you. All the variants, players don't want to deal with it, either the stores. You need a more simplified form of getting this stuff out the door. All this fancy, crazy stuff Wizards has done, that mess we're looking down at, has got to be on autocorrect. And they can turn the ship pretty fast if they had to. They're not there yet, guys. This is just another company ignoring, and Wizards is going to ignore them, and the market space will be absorbed right now. But I'll be curious to see what you guys think in the comments section here. So slam down some comments. Let me know what you think about Troll and Toad and the fact they're not carrying Magic the Gathering. Do you think this is going to affect Magic the Gathering overall? Or like me, you think it's just going to be an absorption process by another online platform retailer type thing, okay? Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the channel. And don't forget, Magic's an amazing game. Always bring a friend to Magic. And of course, another shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons I have supporting my channel each and every day. My YouTube membership members, these guys make that daily uploaded content possible. Thanks again for so many supporters helping each and every day. All right, so Troll and Toad, welcome back. We are at the Ramble Jamble section at the end of the video where I'm going to drink some water. Pardon me, it's kind of hot in here. It's hotter than I thought it was going to be, so I'm a little bit dry-throated. And let's face it, it's been a busy work day. I even copped out of work early. I ran out of work a little bit early. And I said, you know what? I want to do another video. I want to get some stuff up for you guys. Because the 20K party video, although it's awesome and exciting, and I'm so happy I did it, I understand it's not the regular kind of content people are used to seeing. So I thought we'd do this as well. So thanks a lot for watching this far. So yeah, when you look at something like Troll and Toad, and I've noticed that a lot of the online stores, as well as local stores, are carrying a lot less reserve list cards. They seem to have whittled it down to what they have in stock, and they're really not renewing it unless they see it on buy lists and wish list type things, right? And they call the people ahead and say, hey, you still interested? We can get this card in. But so it's kind of curious to see how this is all downplaying. I don't think anything's going to change right now with Troll and Toad stepping away, by the way. Me personally, my opinion, I don't think so. I know others feel differently. I just can't get behind it. They weren't that big. They weren't that popular. I mean, they're still big in terms of how many sales they handled, but that's volume in total. It doesn't all just Magic the Gathering. And maybe they weren't the best place to go for Magic the Gathering. There's a lot there we don't know. But stepping away and having the article written, Wizards is reading this. The marketing team is looking at this. Their PR department is looking at this and wondering, how bad is this going to get? That's what they're wondering. They're not willing to do anything about it, but they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Like I'm thinking about that. Oh, I'm thinking about that. We're getting close. You know what? It's going to be kind of exciting. I can't wait. Anyway, we're talking. We're having a good time. Don't forget, tomorrow is the top 10 on Saturday. Very interesting sales to go over with you guys. Look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget to drop some comments. Have an awesome night. And you never know. You might be surprised. Things happen.